Hey everybody, it's been a big week and you may hear Max because Max is wanting to whine and he's coming over here and I have no treats for him. Uh-uh. So I will rub the pupper head while I talk to you guys. How about that? Um, hey, I see some people are joining in. Basically, this is going to be kind of a loose question and answer, and I want to get some ideas about some of the lives that I'm going to do this week. I know this has been a hard couple of weeks on people, and I don't like using the fear words, but we all know that there's an illness that's been going around that has led to a lot of closings and a lot of fear. And I am here to tell you nothing about that because I am not a doctor or a disease specialist. But what I am is good at cooking in the kitchen and really good with using foods from my pantry, like dried beans, grains, canned beans, frozen veggies, long-lasting veggies like cabbages, which are super cheap right now. So what I wanted to do is just kind of bring up a few different topics about some things that I'm planning on making. Cheryl is home from work at least until the end of the month. This was the first time, so they're off for 2 weeks. I work from home, so it doesn't really change that much about my daily life, although a few conferences have already been canceled. And it's been making me anxious. So while I don't want to address the big elephant in the room that I can address a little bit about anxiety and about us taking care of ourselves on a day-to-day basis. So that's what I thought we would talk about. So we'll talk some about food preparations and any questions. I see that there are quite a few of you on now, so if you leave a question, I believe no matter where you're watching this, you can see it. I can see it. If you're leaving me questions and I don't see it, if you could go to the Plant-Based Instant Pot Facebook page, then maybe I'll see them there. I'll check in a minute to see if I see it on Facebook. But really, I want to talk to you guys. Oh, hi, Dawn Marie. Thank you so much for joining in and letting me know that you're there. I appreciate it. So some of the things that you can do to kind of take care of yourself is by, if you don't already have some stocks of grains and dried beans, being vegan, you should have lots. But that's something good to get. I also... winter squash, cabbages, potatoes, those are all things that last a really long time. So I'm thinking of this in the same way as I would for a hurricane or a snowstorm. Evidently, everybody else in the world is thinking snowstorm because they're buying all the toilet paper. We won't talk about that either. I have opinions. And the thing is that if we have our own stores and our pantries kind of stocked up a little bit, hi Miss Donna, thank you so much for joining, then we can help our neighbors too, because here's the thing, is that the most vulnerable population is the older population that we probably already help a little bit. But if we can make twice as much to do and share some, or in fact, if we're younger going to the store, we can ask them if we can get something for them. So those are all tiny little things. I will say today has been filled with kindnesses for me. So I feel like people are really digging in deep and being kind. And that means the world to me, and I'm not really having any particular problems at this moment. So I think that's one thing we can do. We can buy potatoes, beans, and grains, and we can be kind to people while we're in stores. Be kind to people while you take a walk. Remember, even when we're supposed to be separate and to be a little bit, 6 to 8 feet away from one another, you can still take a walk down your street, unless you live in quite a busy city. Then at that point I take know, I just don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor. But we live in the suburbs, and taking a walk and just seeing people and talking to them from across the street and seeing if they need anything that I can do has helped me alleviate some of my anxiety. I am trying to put things together, like doing some lives. So one of the lives that I know I want to do tomorrow is kind of making a pseudo Trader Joe's cruciferous crunch, because we just ran out, and I know it's got like cabbage and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and some things. I have the bags over there, so I will check the bags. And I obviously, since I have 2 kohlrabis this size of my head, mine's going to have kohlrabi in it too. So what I'm going to do is show you guys kind of how to make up this mix, because I'm not going to go to Trader Joe's every day to buy a bag. This is going to be cheaper. If you don't have a Trader Joe's, you don't even have that choice, right? So we're definitely going to do that. And something like cabbage and Brussels sprouts and a lot of those cruciferous vegetables are going to last a long time in your fridge. So I'm going to make a big giant bowl, because Cheryl is eating this stuff, you guys. I'm so excited. And I'm chopping it up really, really tiny. You may have seen my chopped Asian salad that I ate today. So that was a mix of Trader Joe's cruciferous crunch, broccoli kale salad, and some extra cabbage. So we're going to make some things so that we can throw things together quickly. So for that, I just took this already kind of shredded stuff. I chopped it down with an apple, some blackberry, ginger, balsamic. I did put a little bit of a sesame seed seaweed mix on there too, to kind of give it a little twist, and some soy sauce. Obviously, your diet and whatever you can eat, like some people can't have soy, some people can't have salt. That's all okay. I will, as always, give you the options that you can make these things for you. But if we start with veggies, it's pretty good. If you're allergic to cruciferous veggies, you'll just have to wait till the next one. That's the only thing I have no substitutes for, right? I guess you could use romaine, but it won't be the same, and it won't last as long. Hi, Miss Deborah. Okay, and so she moved away from where there's a Trader Joe's, and I remember doing that. I had Trader Joe's, gosh, 20 years ago, and then I didn't have it again until maybe 10 years ago, I think is when it opened in North Carolina in Chapel Hill for me. And it's a great source. So like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Josh Lajani. He is a vegan, plant-based runner who does Well Start Health with Howard Jacobson, and that's where I was last week in New Orleans. I was at a retreat with them, and he is king of getting good food from Trader Joe's. And so that's one of the things he swears by, and he actually buys it and mixes it with hummus and yellow mustard, which sounds disgusting, but it's delicious, as many things are, right? So I thought we would make some cruciferous crunch. Maybe we would talk about doing some sort of beans and rice dish. Oh, hi, Pat. Pat also does, they don't have Trader Joe's in Canada. Oh, no, that means Brandy's never had it. Brandy, how could you let me go this long without making things that I'm saying are at Trader Joe's? I hold you personally responsible. Just kidding. Tell me what else I say that if I give you a mix and you can't get it in Canada or somewhere else, you probably can get something similar. I think it's Eat Smart has a kale mix salad that's very, very good that I used a few years ago to make a stir fry on healthyslowcooking.com. But it also comes with a dressing packet and some other things that, you know, I feel guilty throwing them away. Now, in a pinch, I don't feel guilty. But if I'm buying them for my house, then I you know, it's not that hard to make. So we're going to make some different veggie mixes. God knows what we're going to make with kohlrabi, because I have no idea. Oh, Pat says Costco has one. Okay, great. Maybe that's why Brandy has not yelled at me. And tell me, what is it that would help you guys, especially if you end up living in close quarters with your whole family for a while, because that means we're going to cook more. It also, with everything going on in the stressors, it's extra stress, it's extra anxiety, which creates extra stress. And that means we need to make sure that we're eating really nutritious, healthy foods. For me, I'm trying to not keep a lot of bad things in the house, but I'm also keeping a few treaty things. And we're going to have popcorn. That's going to be our big snack because we like to watch a movie and have popcorn. So I thought, Cheryl has this crazy, crazy collection of movies. Like, probably if we were quarantined for the rest of our lives, we would have enough movies to watch, kind of thing. So I'm trying to think of ways that I can build in some kind of normal, treaty, self-care things into our days. And I don't have 5 kids like some of you may. And I know that's going to make things a little more difficult. So I'm going to try and work on making some batch things so you don't have to cook all the time, you know. And I would suggest, if you are just not sure what to do and you feel a little frozen, make a batch of lentils or another kind of bean, just plain, right? And then let's make another batch of grain. It could be, this week it could be brown rice or quinoa. If you have those separate plain, then we can take those and make different things. You can also just scoop some of those onto your salad and mix it in with your vinegar. Or if you're tired of having to chew so much and having all that salad and that crunch, what I do also, and the benefit of not having any lettuce in this mix, is that you can saute it. So I have, yesterday what I did is I took the same mix and I minced it up using one of those little knives. And actually, well, I'll show you next time. And then it's very small, so it's going to cook quite quickly, and that's important. So I just threw in, I used some of the sprouted tofu, and I just didn't press it or anything. I just squished it in the pan. I put in my normal kala namak or black salt, some turmeric, some other spices and things. Then I took a few handfuls, actually probably equal amounts tofu to the cruciferous crunch stuff, my personal blend that I kind of chopped up. And so I still got all those veggies in me without feeling like I ate the same salad today, right? So that's going to be really helpful too. What I would love is if this live sparks something in you as far as a question that you have about, I have X in my pantry and I don't know how to cook it. I have 17 cans of chickpeas. What can I do? Okay, maybe that's me. But I have bins of dried beans, just giant bins. So we definitely will be cooking some beans. I also just want to check in because it's important that we don't isolate ourselves when we're having some of these, you know, anxious, stressful times. So even if you just come in to laugh at how crazy my hair is, because it's pretty crazy today, I've taken my walk and everything, that's great. That's great. I just want you to be here. I want you to know that someone is thinking about you. I want you to know that this may be hard and this may be out of the norm for what we're used to doing, but together we can pull together and we can get this done, right? We're going to cook our meals every day. And if you're not feeling well, not necessarily because you have that virus, but there's allergies, there's colds, there are other things too. So the more that we can prep, and if you start feeling yourself maybe feeling a little bit under the weather, maybe go ahead and cook some of those beans and rice, especially if you live by yourself or if you're the main cook for your household. So anyhow, I'm just going to be trying to think of things hopefully that I can do to make life a little easier, a little more normal. If there's a recipe of mine that you really would like me to make live. If I can, I will. There's some ingredients I don't have right now, and if I can't get access to them, I will try and make something similar or another recipe just for you. But again, it's just really important that we're all sticking together. Post what you're eating. Let me know what your shopping experience is like. So far, mine's been pretty good. I am not trying to buy toilet paper. That, at least in my area, is not so good. In Durham, North Carolina, there is Everclear, and I will have a recipe on how to make your own hand sanitizer coming up as well. But mostly I want to concentrate on what we're going to put into our bodies. So, but if you have some questions too, like how can you make your own cleaning stuff, or how can you make your own something or other, let me know. I'm here to help, and I would love to help you and make this time easier. Dawn Marie says, I've been told to soak my beans and lentils, but I struggle with the cook times after that in the Instant Pot and stovetop. I have a lot of dried beans as well. Okay, Dawn Marie, I'm assuming that you're being told to soak for digestive issues that you might have, because if you have trouble digesting beans, it definitely is easier if you soak them. And in general, so those of you who've taken any class with me ever or have read most of my books, beans are the variable when you cook beans, which isn't helpful. So while I will say to you right now, if you're soaking your beans, it's a little less than half the time in general, and you'll use less than half the amount of water that it would be calling for. And I will do something with beans. Maybe we'll soak some and not soak some and cook them together and have like a little bean cook-off. Woo! That sounds very exciting for my weekend. That tells you how exciting I am, doesn't it? I'm like, ooh, cutting up cabbage. Now let's make beans. And so we can work with that. So what may happen if you're cooking beans in your Instant Pot, if you're soaking or not soaking, and I have recipes that call to do both, right? They may not cook in the time called for. And usually people do the in-between times, right? That's what I do. So what I love is when I'm doing a demo or a class and the beans don't cook all the way. Because in general, 90% of the time, if your beans aren't cooked, you might just have to add a little more water and cook them for another 5 to 10 minutes. I will also show you my spoon test where you can see it. So I definitely can put that on my list, Dawn. That would be perfect. And so we could totally do that. And it's never going to be exact. It's never going to be every time I cook French lentils, I cook them for 7 minutes. Even though I and other people may say that's the range. And the reason is the older a bean is, the longer it takes to cook. And those of you who have heard this spiel, I apologize. But if you just bought these at the store today, you don't know how long they were in the store. You don't know how long they were in the warehouse. You don't know how long they were in the warehouse before the warehouse, right? And even some Rancho Gordo beans, I remember a couple of seasons ago, had some that were picked fresh and were quite fresh, but they were having trouble cooking them. And it was taking longer. And so he actually, Steve Sando actually sent out some other beans for us, but some people were able to successfully cook them. So as long as you're willing to not expect perfection, but instead are willing to kind of like, it's like a dance with the beans. You cook the beans tell you if they're done or not. Then you go and maybe you cook them again, maybe you get to serve them. That's another good reason to go ahead and cook up a pound or so at a time, because then you're not wasting that. A lot of times I will cook a pound of beans and I will use what we're going to use in this dinner and I'll freeze the rest for another time just so that they're ready to go. So I love that idea, and thank you, Dawn Marie, so much for giving me that. So we'll do cruciferous crunch. We'll definitely talk about beans, and maybe we'll do a soaked bean to a non-soaked bean kind of contest so you can see the looks and how things are just the different and the same, and you can eat them either way. I will say that if you have digestive issues with beans and you've never soaked your beans, do try that. That's something to do. Okay, guys, I just wanted to pop in. I'm not sure what time I'm going to pop in tomorrow. I will probably get the cruciferous crunch kind of, at least the ingredients laid out, which may mean I have to clean my fridge. So just send me good luck with that. And again, be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. Give yourself patience. Do something that you enjoy doing tonight. Maybe read a book. Take a bath. Just, there's nothing we can do to change what's going on except to do our little part. And think of it like a sonnet, right? So now we have this little box of rules that's like a sonnet. And we have all the freedom within it. So we can plan our meals, we can eat healthy, and drink lots of water, okay? And I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and I will be checking to see what things you want to see me make live. And have a great, great night, and be well.